All right, so let's continue. So you got your snake, right? The snake has like the competition changes for each animal. Now the snake is venomous, but he's not trying to pick fights with anybody. He's just digging around, slithering around, hiding here, camouflaging there, ready to sting what he needs to sting to get that money. And I mean, snakes can eat mice, by the way. You know, I'm imagining bigger snakes or king snakes can eat rats. You know, the rats have a strong survival ability, but they get the crap out of everything. You know what I mean? They get the crappiest life. You know what I mean? Raccoons live better than rats, much better than rats. You know what I mean? Raccoons live much better. So you got those. What other animals that I mentioned? Did I mention cows? I didn't mention. I think I've talked about them. But the point is that in a competition, there's levels. You know what I mean? Just like in the army, there are ranks, there are levels and everything. And you take the ants. They got army ants, they got worker ants, they got a queen ant, they got all that stuff. You know, same thing with bees. They got worker bees, they got soldier bees that sting people or whatever they call them, whatever they call them. You know what I mean? Bumblebees, whatever they call them. So you got this. Everybody's making money though, man. Everybody makes at least a little bit of money, unless you have no presence. Even then, you make a little bit of money. Everybody makes money. Okay, but everybody makes money in a different way, makes a different amount, and has a different lifestyle with the money. That's all it is. You know what I mean? There might be a guy who's obsessed with gambling, and he's good and he has a lot of money, or he's inherited money. He just wants to blow that money out the wazoo. You know what I mean? Everybody's kind of spending money all over the place in different ways. A guy like me, I would like to think I'm not exactly money efficient, and I'm not exactly wasteful either. But I don't see any reason to spend money unnecessarily, and at the same time, I don't see no reason to save money where you would have fun spending. But why would I spend it when it hurts me? And why wouldn't I spend it when it benefits me? Why wouldn't I make it when it benefits me? Why would I make it when it hurts me? You know what I mean? It's a lot going on with the competition and money, man. It's a lot going on. You know what I mean? Lifestyle is a big deal. You got guys who, the word is actually called, I'll call it vagina whooped, right? But it's called something else. That means a guy gets married, for example, and his wife is running his life, right? Or maybe she's not running his life, right? But this is the thing. Either she's running his life or he's not. Now, if she's not running his life, she wants something from him. She feels like he doesn't really give her what maybe a charming husband would give her. You know what I mean? So she's thinking, I want money. Honey, I want money. Honey, I want your credit card. Honey, give me cash. And then she'll go to the mall and blow it out the wazoo. You know what I mean? And he's happy with that because he got himself an attractive wife, and he's not attractive or charming at all. You know what I mean? So he got something, she got something. You know what I mean? Everybody's lifestyle is different, man. Some people are spending away on booze all the time, or boozing away. Some people are not taking care of their health. Drinking alcohol, taking all kinds of crazy drugs. Why do you want to take drugs, man? What is the point of taking drugs? The dealers can spike your fucking crack. You know what I mean? Don't do crack, man. Don't do crack. Whatever you do, don't do crack, and never associate with someone who does crack. Don't ever associate with a crackhead, man. You know what I mean? I'm the opposite. I make crackheads not want to hang around me. You know what I mean? Crackheads are like, fuck this dude. I don't want to fucking talk to this dude. Which works to my benefit, basically. Anyways, back to money and competition. We're talking about everybody spends money and earns money in a different way. You know what I mean? But that's a big thing too. Why would I earn money in a way that hurts me? You know what I mean? Why would I earn money in a way where, let's say, I'm going against all my morals? You know what I mean? Let's say I'm working for the biggest piece of shit asshole boss in the world. Some guy who's, I don't want to say names, but like some ridiculously stupid and evil guy, and I'm working for the guy. You know what I mean? And I'm achieving his ends. And I'm making money off of that kind of lifestyle. You see, we don't all have a choice in life. We do and we kind of don't. You know what I mean? Because it comes to our abilities too. When you're doing certain things, that says a lot about you. When you're not doing certain things, that says a lot about you. The type of certain things that you're doing says a lot about you. It says a lot about, well, someone might say, well, this wasn't my choice. I had to earn money like this. I had no choice. I had to survive. Well, that has to do with who you are, the animal you are, and the lifestyle that you choose. Right? And same with me. I mean, I never... I was an adult when I did my crime, and as an adult, I had no charges prior to, no formal charges as far as I knew, prior to robbing a bank. All right, that says a lot about me right there. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of people that you hear about whose first crime is robbing a bank, especially solo. That's a very, very rare thing. Doesn't really happen often. You know what I mean? That makes me a rare kind of person. My style makes me a rare kind of person. The way I talk and think, the people I associate with, how I live my life, all these things make me a different kind of person. I'm there for a reason, right? Now I could say, dude, I got no choice but to work in a factory right now. Because I need the money and I got no other way of making money, so I'm going to work in a factory. Well, that says a lot about me now. I'm working in a factory right now. Shadow world is a whole different thing. In the shadow world, people may be wowed by me, right? Oh my God, I can't believe he did this. This is crazy. How could he do this within a few hours? Everybody's going crazy. 1 or 2 days later, nobody's even paying attention. Or they're just talking about the next guy who's doing something similar. They've moved on to the next guy. They couldn't get number one. Number one was in the shadow world. They couldn't get number one. So what do? They got to move on to number two. If they can't get number two, they got to move on to number three. Their third option. That's how life is, man. You can't make excuses and say, I didn't know enough. I didn't know. You can't make any excuses. You were doing that for a reason. I've always told you I was at level 1. There was no growth for me. I mean, I hated myself and I thought I was a big failure because I couldn't get out of level 1. And I still thought that with all my strong characteristics, I'd still be rich one day, I still do everything one day, and I still have a life one day. But I never thought I'd get out of that shell, start growing, have a presence, you make a difference. You know what I mean? And there I am now. I'm gonna tell you a very funny story about myself. When I was a small child, maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, I saw an episode of Simpsons. In the episode, Homer goes back into time into the dinosaur ages. Okay, he's going back in time constantly. And he goes back in time, and when he comes back, he does something stupid or something he thinks is nothing wrong with, that's fine. He does something he thinks is fine, comes back and finds that his life has totally changed. You know, his daughter is like this, his wife is like that. Maybe he has no children, for example. He has no wife. You know what I mean? So what happens is that eventually he goes all the way back to dinosaur times. And all he does is squish like a little bug or something, and his life totally changes. You know what I mean? And then he freaks out. He goes back into dinosaur time, and this time he's just stomping over every small creature. You know what I mean? He comes back and life is totally different. Eventually he gets back to normal life. But the thing is that I watched that when I was a little child, and you know what I thought to myself? I hope one day I can make a change in the world, even if it's by stepping on a bug. I literally thought that to myself. I said, if I could step on a bug tomorrow, I might make a difference in the whole world. That's how insignificant I thought I was as a child. I literally thought that, and I've never forgotten that thought or that episode. Or that moment in that episode when he did that. I kept thinking to myself, wow, you know, if I could just step on one bug in my life, if I could just make a little difference in the entire world, I would be so happy. Imagine me doing things where the world is totally changed. You know what I mean? Not knowing, you know what I mean? Not really knowing much. I'll tell you, if I was an adult, as an adult, I'll tell you, I feel for children. I am compassionate towards children. I feel for children. I'm not really child savvy or anything, but I feel for children. And I'll explain what that means. As an adult, and I see a child, and I've always had this kind of sympathy. You know what I mean? I always, and to be honest, a lot of us are guilty of this. Anyone saw Prince and the Pauper, you know, or Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, and everybody's rooting for Charlie, man. Charlie's a poor kid that doesn't complain. He lives in this house with all these old people. They're broke as hell. He's able to get one chocolate in the whole year. They drink cabbage soup all day. because he can't afford meat, can't afford real meals. He eats one little chocolate and he gets the ticket to go to Willy Wonka's, and he ends up inheriting the whole chocolate factory or whatever. And Willy Wonka is impressed by him too. This crazy, nutty genius of a candy maker is impressed by this kid. I remember watching Charlie and the Chocolate Factory as a kid. I remember, and I mean the original one, not, you know. And I remember watching, what's it called? There was Prince and the Pauper, you know. And I always felt at that moment, you felt the prince was the pauper, man. The prince and the pauper switched places, man. And the prince was the pauper. I felt for the prince, man. He had to live the pauper's life, man. He couldn't even get out. Nobody would believe him. He found a knight, and that knight he could trust a little bit or whatever, but he couldn't trust anybody, man. You know what I mean? And dude, if you think that this is a one-time thing, did you ever watch that The Dictator with Sacha Baron Cohen? What was his name? I don't remember. The Dictator with Sacha Baron Cohen. General Aladdin. What happens? His own general or his trusted side guy gets him switched with some random poor guy who looks just like him as a lookalike. And he switches him. Now this guy has to live a shitty life. It's the same as a Prince and the Pauper. And what happens at the end of the movie? General Aladdin lives like a poor man, right? For all that time. And when he gets his position back, what does he do? He realizes, like, he learns all the morals and values that he didn't know as a rich person. He learns all these things about the world that he never understood. He's working in this save the animal organic world kind of place with this funny little girl who he thinks is a boy or whatever. But, you know, he comes into this world having known nothing about this stuff, having known nothing about this experience. He learns about it. You know what I mean? Think about being an adult. If you're an adult right now, would you go back? Would you become a child again to be a rich child? Would you do that? Would that appeal to you? Honestly, give me the honest answer. If you went back, wouldn't you rather live as a poor child and kind of, you know what I mean, see what it's like to live that life, you know, so free? You know what I mean? So free. Nobody's got a tight knot on you. Like you know what I mean? I'm paying for everything. You need you know what I mean? I've been thinking about how rich that experience is. Anyways, I'm done. Right? I've said a lot. You know what? I'll finish it off. I got a little bit of time. So, you know, where were we getting with this? You know, the whole idea that I thought that, you know, could I just change? If I just hit one, could I change the world? Could I make a difference? I felt like I didn't make any difference in the world at all. That was my personality. That was my life. I felt like, oh, man. Okay, sorry. So that was my personality. That was my life. I didn't think I would make any difference in the world. Come today, I feel like I made a big difference in the world. And it's crazy. And I had no idea of who I could be or my potential or anything like that. Never knew that. People are always slipping it into me, all the potential I have. And I always negated it. Because I couldn't get out of level 1, man. I was stuck in a shell, man. Imagine just traveling country to country all the time by yourself, from one world to another world. On the other side, you have a new world and old, going from one world to another world by yourself. Imagine what kind of life that is, man. Imagine that, just traveling, just to travel alone, the journey alone, but by yourself. You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean? That kind of life is difficult, man. People can't understand that kind of life, man. People don't know what that's about. Somebody who can do that can't put up with a lesser life, and I mean, I was a child. It wasn't what it was, you know. But I never thought I was gonna get out of that. Even when I look back now, I ask myself, do you really think no way, that's never gonna happen. If it happened, do you think you'd be mega successful? Absolutely, you know, absolutely. If it were to happen, absolutely, I would definitely find success. Will it happen? I don't think so. I don't think it's possible. Because I've tried just about every goddamn thing that I could try, man. I've gone into every little world that I could. I go into new level 1 every few months. Not giving up, just trying to keep on struggling. You know what I mean? And I finally made it, man. I finally made it. You know what I mean? All right, I'm done.